So yeah, let's start now. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So I see that you are. Okay. So you can unmute because it's just three of us, and just to give a comment. Or you can write in the text, but it's just less interactive that way. Okay, so I wanted to start today just to mention that I'm glad that a lot of people actually joining the competition, trying to do something, and then and I see some very good results, even for the first week, and also the good news that okay, the good news that Kaggle, which is the platform for this competition, so around machine learning actually featured this contest, so it is more will get more maybe a little bit more people from the Kaggle community, and I don't expect too much, but it's still a good thing. So yeah, let's jump straight into the Dune tables. Let's see if something interesting is there, something that could help. And let's just yeah, just start to share. So the first of all, there is of course the Solana transactions table, which is I can't recommend using in most of the cases, because it's just too basic. You need a lot of processing to get some useful information. But as if you follow the previous tasks, sometimes it's unavoidable. There are not so many ready tables with all the data. So in many cases, we need to go here and to do some parsing to get the data we need. So I don't want to get into this too deeply because it's a lot to cover. I just say that probably you will need to filter like very very hard to get something usable from here. And I would first try to find the tables from Dune or from other people who are just building dashboards. And if you find nothing, then you can try to do something with this table, because otherwise it's a lot of work. Yeah. So yeah. So let's try to look in this the Solana curated data from Dune, which I guess have the most of usable things that are at least checked many times, so we more or less can be sure what's in there. So let's go just one by one. So the token accounts data. So here the Solana utils token accounts, information about token accounts on the Solana blockchain. Yeah. So what they say that this is basically an address, what balance we have of which token. Yeah, I think it's would be very helpful to try to select maybe some of the data. Uh, because it's not clear for me if it's for some specific, like for current moment, or it's a historical table. So we don't even have the balance here, right? So yeah, so basically what we can get from here is that if, for example, we have some specific mint, um, who is the owner of this account? Yeah. So I'm not, so it's definitely some technical table, like for joining and stuff. So probably don't need it until you understand you need the like an owner of account or something to join it for with some other table. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time with this. So the token metadata, it's the token actually, this the table we are in one of the tasks before the previous weeks. For analytical tasks, we use this table to get the duplicates of the tokens, and I think this could actually this specific thing could help with this as well, because if you are comparing the original token and the duplicates, different type of duplicates, like the ones which were created right after this after this original token, or it might be in some relatively long time, like in the minutes or so, or maybe even days, you can use this information. So for example, I can see why this couldn't help if for each token we also have the information about the how long it's created from the duplicate or something. But of course, I don't know if it would help a lot, but it may help. So I don't think that we have. Mm, let's uh, let's try. Just will not work, but this should work. It's just arbitrary data. I just want to see how it look in the nowadays. So we need to understand that for our competition, we only limited to the Solana, only to pump fund tokens. That means that like metadata program token version is basically the same. So, and all the data like this name and symbol, you already have it, and the token URI. So the only thing which why you need this table is probably if you need some historical data. So if because for all the tokens that are created in this time window, the competition time window, and we already have all the data. So I think if you understand that months of the tokens is not enough and you need to join more information, that you might need this table, because for the rest you already have it in the Kaggle dataset. So yeah, I guess not much use because most of it is already in the Kaggle dataset, but you may want to use the historical part. So let's try now this Solana transfers. Yeah. Uh, yeah, of course. Let's maybe it will guess the name of the the field, the filter. Or not. Yeah, so it should be block time. Yeah. So actually, I think that this table could be a lot of help for this competition, because if you think about the token creation, so we have a like a developer or the basically the address which launched the token, and we know some at the moment of token creation, some information about this. I guess the transaction and the context where it happened. But what we don't know is the history before that. And according to the competition rules, you can use it as an external data. So you can, for example, select something from this table before the creation time or during the first 100 blocks and use these transfers. Specifically, I think that it's maybe very important to use the um, Solana transfers because for pump fund, all the swaps they with the Solana. So first of all, in order to create a token, you need Solana, and you need to get it from somewhere. So and the same for swaps. So I think that, for example, the source of these funds for each account could point out where this money come from, and if this a person, is this a bot, is this like a sniper or something, and this of course could contribute something to the model quality if you know this additional data about the transactions, about the addresses that are doing swaps. So yeah, so I maybe understanding that yeah, uh, let's try let's try. It's interesting because I see that the transfer action, and also there should be something else. Action transfer. So there's also mint. Okay, so I don't think in our case that could be helpful because for the pump fund we don't really need we can't really mint anything because it's the minting is locked by this the creation during the creation process. The right to mint more tokens, it's not controlled by the developers, so it's basically you can't see minting of the token in our data. But it might be important to look on the transfers of the tokens that are not swaps. Like, for example, we are knowing that during these first 100 blocks, somebody bought tokens and distributed them to different accounts. That might mean something. I don't know if it's something that could happen a lot, but we can check this also. So basically, we now only have the swap operations. So the buying and selling. And behind the scenes, we can do these transfers for these swaps. And before that, we can do any. So we can build some meaningful features or understand some important information about the accounts that trade in this. But I didn't try to solve this like till the end. I tried to do some things, and I do think that this could be important, but I can't say this for sure because I didn't do it myself. So it's not the thing I say that I know this is a good feature. I don't know it, but I just have a feeling that it might be. Yeah. So just if you have any questions, unmute yourself and jump in. And I'll check the maybe the chat. Yeah, see, yeah, good. So the John is just asking. Yeah. So what percent of the data per slot in this curated Kaggle dataset when compared to what's available publicly? So I'm not 100% sure that I got the question, but I tried to answer it. So in the Kaggle dataset, what we have basically, it's all the swaps, like 100% of the swaps that is following the first swap operation for each token. So it meaning that we are not filtering the mints, we are not filtering the swaps. Besides this, the first 100 block limitation, because this is the like basically the amount of information. Like in real life, like we are starting monitoring the token, and we stop and the block number 100 and say like, okay, what we need to understand what will be next. And this is all information you have up to this moment. And we have all the swaps up to this moment. And we have like all the means in this basically during the February. So no filtering besides this Dune. And test mean addresses are already in public data, right? Is it safe from probing? Okay, so this is so I answered this question a couple of times in different contexts. So first of all, it is possible to design the competition that it would be 100% safe, but this is the only way how you can do this. If I would say, okay, that the real test set would be during the May data. So we can't afford to have, because all the data in that in the blockchain is public, right? So it is possible. So in order to avoid the cheating and this stuff, we need to basically we need to predict something that has not happened yet. For example, this is like the competition ends in April, and you need to predict the data for May. But for this, we need to make all the participants. First of all, would be only the code competition. So it means that you can't do it yourself. You need to build a code that is robust and can work with any data. And even with the data, with the new data, and you didn't see it, like nobody saw it before. And this is just this make it not so friendly for all the people who are actually most interested in this competition, like the beginners who are interested in the trying doing some machine learning stuff and more knowledgeable about analytics. So said this, I understand that it is possible, but there are many ways how to identify the solutions that are based on the like if you just join the real targets and try to cover up this fact, you probably won't succeed unless you have a lot of experience with the machine learning competitions. So I wouldn't advise this. It's probably it will result in a non-reproducible solution. So you will get no prize, and I don't think that's worth a lot. So you can try, but I mean, it's not that big of a competition to. It's not awarding the medals. So I don't think it's worth this fast. So you need to understand how to extract this, and at the same time to know American competitions a lot to cover up your like this cheating basically, because it gets against the rules. So I don't expect it to be the thing in this competition, but it's possible. I don't say it's not possible. So can we use the prev month data for notorious traders there to offer the probability of some coins graded with respect to other in the sample? Okay. So from what I understand, is it possible, like, can we, according to the rules, can we use the data from the previous months to calculate something about the traders on devs? And the answer is yes, you can do this. So I wouldn't. So try. So first of all, if you want to do this, there is a deadline for external data, and if your solution uses something like this, you will need to share it. So everybody can use the same raw data you are building your features on. This is like basically this is the Kaggle context where you are only trying to level in all this the data access to the same level of for participants. Of course, you're most interested to extracting this data because you know what to do with this, but also other participants can also try to use it to their benefit. This is the one thing. And the second thing, try not to use two bigger data sets. Try not to make it 100 gigabytes task because this is prohibiting for some participants. But again, it's not against the rules. You can try to do this, but it would be relatively hard in sense of infrastructure and this kind of thing, just to download this much of data. So try to be reasonable in this sense. But keep in mind that it's still all the external data should be up to this 100th block for each mint in the data set, basically this. And if like it's before February, it's basically you can use anything, of course. So in this, the Alex is asking, in this case, what external data are we allowed to use? Only the data in the Kaggle dataset? No. So for example, like I just demonstrated this Solana token Solana transfers. You can do some selects. Actually, you can use my help to do this, to extract some data, because, for example, if you use Dune, it's not free to export data, but I have an account that has like some limits. So a reasonable size of the data set, for example, like few millions of rows, it's probably easy to export. That's not a problem. And we can add this external data set and you can use it and other participants can use it. So yeah, I hope that I answered this what external data are we allowed to use. So any external data that, so you in the thread for external data, you say that I want to use this. I said, okay, let's export it. And maybe you can do this, maybe we can do this together. We export it. And there is a new data set, which is available for every participant. And the second part of this question is, what is the main difference between the two versions of the dataset, version 1 and version 2? I don't quite understand. So there was a mistake in the couple of tables about this token info. And basically, I just, there's one of the participants, he pointed out that there is something wrong with this token information. I checked, and indeed there was some data missing, and just did re-exporting and put the new files. I didn't want to replace it, so just name it version 2, so that the previous code would work, wouldn't change their behavior. So basically, that's it. That's it. So yeah, I hope I answered this question. Let me go through the next one. So the John is asking, what percent of the data per slot? No, it's a reply for this. By the percent of the data per slot, I meant data like logs per transaction. So in this case, I not quite understand. Do you mean that you're interested how many transactions these tokens are representing from all the transactions in the Solana during these months? In this case, probably not much, because it's like around thousands of transactions per second. And of course, it's much less in the data set, even if we combine all the swaps and the token creation data, it still shouldn't be much. Yeah. And the follow-up, if you use external data, is there is a deadline to publish it in the external data Kaggle discussion, or can we publish the data after the competition closes? There is a deadline. It's usually in Kaggle competitions, which are usually longer than 1 month. Usually it's 2 months, 3 months, and the usual thing to make this deadline 2 weeks before the competition end, so the other participants can actually take a look to all the published data sets and maybe use it up to some degree. Of course, you may have like, because you are the owner, like author of this data set, you probably know how to use it better than the others, but still they need to have some time for this. And for this competition, which is shorter than usual, just 1 month, I decided that it would be 10 days before the competition end. So you may be sure that if the data is not published at 10 days before the competition, that will be no more new data. So you don't need to change your solution because of new data is published in the external data. So. Yeah, so this is, so in Kaggle, it's a lot about trying to maintain this competitiveness and to give all the participants a reasonably same access to resources, computing resources, and the data. So they actually trying to compete in machine learning. But for this competition, I think it's still valuable. But I think that in this competition, actually understanding an analytical part is very important. So it's still, if you just export the transfers and end it to external data, and you don't know what to do with this, you probably will not get much of the use from it. But if you understand why I need it, you can do a lot of things. So the 10 days before the competition is mandatory. What if the data was collected in the final days of the competition? So the rules are this. So if you are collecting a new data after the competition, like after this deadline, so you can try to understand something, but your final solution can't use it. So it's not much of use to collect a new data after this deadline. So for your research, it might be useful, but for the competition, it's probably, you probably don't need it. Yeah, I think that you have a lot of time to think on the, like, significant time. I mean, it's not much, but 3 weeks to think about it and to extract some data and to share it. And I don't think it's, so probably don't need to do this in the last day. So try to do it at least 1-2 days before. So we actually can look through it, because we also need to be sure that in this data set, it's not against all the rest of the rules. For example, it's not, you can't look in the future with this data, at least to show what data can be used and what data can't be used in this competition. There should be some understanding in this. So try not to do this all at once in the last day. So 1 or 2 days in advance would be much better, but it's your right. And I will try to do this fast. And of course, if you do it in the last day, you should be ready to provide the data set yourself. And if it's a little bit before, I can help. So this is also a bonus. Yeah, so if it seems like there are no more questions. Let's let's try. Yeah, let's try to look through. We don't have much time. Let's try to look through the rest of the tables. So I already covered these transfers, which I think could be a great source of the information. Let's see. So there is two tables about the trading. The first one is the DEX trading, and we don't have exactly the table like this. We have a little bit different table in the sense of the it's only from pump fund, and it has like additional data extracted, which is behind like significantly more than here. But if you want to do some historical work, like to know what, for example, what account did before trading this token, before February or just right before the token creation, something like this, you can use this Solana DEX trades. I don't think that Jupyter aggregator swaps are somewhat better, because I think this is just more or less the filtering. So not all of the transactions are done with Jupyter, but I think here it should be more. So because some of the transactions are done like straight with the uh, uh, with the with the pool. So we don't need to do it always with the Jupyter contract. So I think that the most important table is the Solana DEX trades, but I never actually compared these two. So yeah, technically here we should just have some of the types, the most important types. Maybe here we have more, so we need to get a little bit deeper here. But again, so we already have all the swaps in the 100 blocks. So it's just what's I guess important you can have here is that you can get more data in the past, and you can get some, for example, for some tokens that are not in the list, not in pump fund, but you still can try to, for example, you have duplicate, which is created with Radium, and you can try to use it somehow. So yeah, and we don't have much time, so I can't cover deep. Let's try to look if there is something important here. No, I think it's no, yeah, it's not Solana. So yeah, I think I covered what I wanted. There is yeah, I'm 100% sure that there are a lot of useful dashboards, which are like tables and views on Dune about Solana, which can be used, but not in the curated section. So it's not by Dune, just by other people, and we didn't get into this. But it's mostly because I'm not sure how reliable those tables are. But what I want to propose, if you want to discuss some additional tables, maybe in sense of usefulness, keep in mind that we will discuss this and this will be public, so everybody can use our ideas. But still, I invite you to discuss more on this, because I think it's just interesting. This is the main purpose of this competition, to be interesting and maybe somewhat educative. So yeah, I think we need to wrap up now. Do you have any final things, comments, questions? Okay, I think it's it's not. Yeah. I just want to say a couple of words on the competitions. So I would advise you to do relatively lightweight models. So the models that are working in 5-10 minutes maximum to iterate fast. This is like a must-have for these competitions. And closer to the end, you can make it ensembles, you can make it like bigger models. But for now, just try to extract as much information that is important. This is one thing. The second thing, don't forget there is a GPU that could help you. And the cut boost can use GPU. Most of the gradient boosting, like LightGBN, as far as I know, it's also can use GPU. Of course, neural networks can use GPU, and to your advance, this could help to participate in the competition, to make it like to learn the models would learn faster. It is important. Yeah, and I guess just basically, it's the winner is usually the person who tried many hypotheses, and some of them are just worked. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very glad that you came, and uh, I want to make a new call in a week time, and maybe we discuss a little bit progress, maybe a little bit more external data or something else. It's more up to you. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's now time to wrap up. Yeah, thank you too. It's really, I really like these calls and interest in the task. Okay, so bye bye.